Most of us are usually in a rush when we're at Lime Street Station, our attention drawn only to the train times and platform numbers. If you look closely, all around you are some fascinating glimpses of railway history and clues about the huge amount of work it takes to run and maintain a modern station. Network Rail allowed The Echo to take an exclusive close-up look at Lime Street after hours and behind the scenes. Some of these things you'll only ever see at night when the station is winding down for the night, while others are hidden in plain sight as you make your way in and out of Liverpool. One of the railway tunnels between Lime Street Station and Edge Hill. Image, Lorna Hughes. Our tour of the tracks was just a few weeks before work starts on the second phase of an upgrade that will allow Lime Street to welcome more and longer trains. The project will take place from June 2 to July 29, when many mainline services will start and terminate at Liverpool South Parkway. Last year, Lime Street saw 3 weeks of full and partial closures so engineers could build 2 new platforms and upgrade the tracks. The Liverpool Tunnel of Love you didn't know existed. Around 2,000 meters of track has been replaced, new steel gantries installed and new signalling fitted. The next major phase of works to remodel and rebuild station platforms, which Network Rail says is needed so the station can accommodate growing numbers of passengers. Here are 10 things we found out when we visited Lime Street after dark. 1. There's toilet paper on the tracks. The tracks in the tunnels leading from Lime Street Station. Image, Lorna Hughes, Liverpool Echo. It's difficult to see this from the platforms, but you might catch a glimpse if you know what you're looking for. When The Echo was allowed to walk along the tracks in the early hours of the morning, we noticed shredded toilet tissue at various points. It's there because older Pacer trains empty the contents of their toilets directly onto the tracks. Newer trains retain the waste in tanks that are emptied later, so, in a few years, you won't find toilet paper on the tracks at all. 2. The Orange Army. Rail workers, dubbed the Orange Army, for their high-vis jackets and trousers, on the tracks at Lime Street Station after hours. Image, Lorna Hughes, dubbed the Orange Army, for the color of their high-vis jackets and trousers with reflective strips. They are the railway workers who come out at night, after services are finished. Maintenance workers are responsible for checking points, bolts and connections. When The Echo visited, the Orange Army was around 70 strong, but most were project workers preparing for the Lime Street upgrade works. 3. Tunnel refuges. One of the emergency refuges in the tunnels at Lime Street Station. Image, Lorna Hughes. These you may well have noticed on your train journeys. Throughout the network of tunnels between Edge Hill Station and Liverpool Lime Street there are several refuges, or recesses, cut out of the tunnel walls. They are small spaces where railway workers could retreat to a place of safety away from passing trains. They date from the days when railway workers commonly worked on the tracks even while services were running. 4. The old platforms 10 and 11. The taxi rank at Lime Street Station, which was once part of the platforms. Image, Google Street View. The area that is used as Lime Street's taxi and pickup area was once the station's platforms 10 and 11. Graham Whitehead, Network Rail project manager, said, "You can still see the overhead line wire supports. Taxis used to be sent down a road in the middle of the station known as Cab Row, which originally came about so well-to-do passengers could step directly onto their trains and didn't have to associate with the masses as their carriages pulled into the station." 5. Street signs in the tunnels between Lime Street Station and Edge Hill. Image, Lorna Hughes. As you go through the tunnels, you'll notice street signs by several bridges, giving a clue to the streets of Liverpool several feet above. Much of the area above the tunnels leading from Lime Street is the city's University Quarter, and some University of Liverpool buildings were constructed directly above the railway tunnels. How to get around Liverpool if Reds have Champions League victory parade. When we walked along the tracks, we noticed signs for Brownlow Street and Great Noon Street. 6. The Signal Box, and it might be haunted. The Signal Box at Lime Street Station. Image, Lorna Hughes. You'll see this listed building on your right as your train pulls out of Lime Street. It was opened by British Rail in January 1948 and built to the London, Midland. Legend has it that the Signal Box is haunted, with a resident ghost fond of opening and closing doors inside the building. 7. The Old Turntable. The site of the Old Turntable at Lime Street Station. Image, Lorna Hughes. On the right of the station complex, just past the taxi rank and workers' entrance close to the Signal Box, you'll notice that the walls are curved. This is because a turntable once stood here. As the name suggests, it was used to turn trains during the steam era. 8. Numbers on the walls. Spray-painted numbers on the tunnel walls at Lime Street are formed by railway workers when work takes place on the tracks and signals. Image, Lorna Hughes. You might be able to see some of them in daylight, but you'll find spray-painted numbers on tunnel walls, plus plates fixed to the walls, also with numbers. Spray-painted numbers are for project work. Look inside the secret little house hidden in Liverpool's railway tunnels. All other numbers refer to gantries along the railway supporting things like signals over the railway track. Each gantry has a number and all the overhead line gantries have reference numbers. 9. Air shafts. Ventilation holes in the tunnels between Lime Street and Edgehill stations. Image, Lorna Hughes. Air ventilation shafts run through the different tunnels, many dating back to the days of steam trains, when they were needed for smoke extraction. 10. The Old Mess Hut. The Echo was given an exclusive look at the secret house tucked away in the darkness of the rail tunnels approaching Lime Street Station. Image, Lorna Hughes. The miniature house, located deep in the tunnels approaching Lime Street Station from Edgehill, was built more than 100 years ago and was used by track workers taking their breaks. It has been disused for 50 years and can now only be accessed when trains aren't running. Network Rail engineers found an old kettle, a cup and tongs used to move materials in the fireplace inside the mess hut.